that? Oh God, I'm gonna die. I gotta get this on camera. No. Hey everybody, welcome to the Marino Show. I'm your host, David Marino, and today I'm welcoming back actress Ilene Sullivan. She is also a good friend. So happy to have you. I know that you have several films that are coming in the future, including The Final Boy, The Traveler, Piglet, and some of your recent films include The Gifted, which was recently released, and then other films include Raven, Bonds of Grief. We'll talk about all of that. But Ilene, thank you so much for joining me today.
Oh, David, thanks for having me back again. You know, I love you. I love your show, and it's always a pleasure. As you know, I recently had a trip out to Austin where we got to spend some time together. It was a quick weekend, but you and our friend Sarah were wonderful hosts and showed me around. I had never been, and it was a very fun time. I hope to come back. I hope you'll have me back.
Yes. And that's what I want to speak to. Just you bringing that up is great because I loved having you here and visiting and just getting to connect with you in that way. We'll talk more about The Gifted because we got to hang out at that premiere as
Yeah.
well. But what I love about doing this show and just having started it a few years ago is meeting people like you and then forming these friendships with people that I never would have met had I not been doing this, and being part of the horror and film community in this way has been such a just a treasure for me. So I just want to thank you for being like so
Oh,
awesome, so cool, and for doing the work that you do, because I think artists are so important in our world, especially today when we need escape more than ever.
more than ever, folks. Well, as I said, it's a pleasure, and you're so good at what you do that it makes doing these interviews so easy and comfortable. So thank you.
Of course. Now we have to talk about. Let's talk about The Gifted first. The Gifted is a film from Strange Films, and it's a semi-horror film with yourself. You're in it, Ginger Lynn Allen, Jennifer Pearl, Joe Casterline, lots of people in the film, and it's out now. It's on YouTube, I believe, right? And it's
Mhm.
it's it's a great film. I thought your part was so fun. So tell me about that experience and the film premiere that we attended in Las Vegas, and what that meant to be a part of that production
Oh my
specifically.
gosh. Well, as you mentioned, it's a stellar cast and a great script. Um, the production value I thought was terrific. It was filmed in multiple locations, and it really came together with everybody. It was fun. It was, and everybody bonded, like you said. And by the time it got to the premiere, for those of us who were able to come out to a premiere in Vegas, I mean, it was very exciting. The premiere was fantastic, and like you said, it gave us an opportunity to actually meet. And I think we just hit it off right away. At least that's how I felt. And it was like, it was instantaneous. And I just love you. And yeah, the premiere was thrilling and exciting. And it was well received. And it was a fun time, and everybody did such a great job. And I'm so pleased that it's getting um, some really good positive feedback. It has been shown on a couple of the different streaming networks and so forth. So um, kudos to Strange Films and the Aguilars and everybody that was involved, because I'm pretty proud of that project.
And you played this like kind of maniacal clown at a birthday
Yeah.
party. There's more to it. I want people to go see, I want people to watch it on streaming and to watch it online. So I don't want to give too much away. And I've talked about the film a number of times. However,
Mhm.
your part fits into the overall kind of theme of
Yeah,
what's happening down the line in the film and to the main character. And so
right.
how is that just being able to play that because you did so well. It was
Thank you.
like creepy and funny at the same time.
Thanks. Well, it was a character, and I tapped into a couple of ideas that I was interested in pulling off, and I think it came out really well. And obviously, we filmed a lot of it, but through editing and so forth, it got pared down a little bit, but. Um, it was fun, and I enjoyed being able. I enjoy being trusted with characters. That directors trust me, and just give me sort of free reign for the most part. We know you'll come up with something, and I did, and everybody seemed to like it. So I was pretty happy with that. That was fun.
I know everybody's process is different, specifically for actors when it comes
Hmm.
to approaching a role. When we were talking, when you were in Austin, you said you're not really big on, some people take classes and they do that, some people don't. That doesn't determine talent level at all. It's like you
Right.
either have it or you don't, in my opinion, right? And you have it. But when you approach these different roles, I've heard like from actors, depending on what it is that you're playing, that it can really be draining and take on a life of its own and sort of be hard to sometimes shake that character. Have you found that ever to be the case in any other films that you've done, or like some tougher, not tougher, but just some characters that stay with you a little longer, that are hard to sort of shake once you're done filming? Because I think it's hard to go from being in a
Mhm.
character to just back to normal.
I have to say, not that I can think of. Um, Especially if the work is coming, one project after another. So, you finish with one, you set that aside, and then, you're into developing something else. So sometimes that helps. Um, and a lot of my films have been shorts. Now, if you're talking about Hollywood style productions that go on for months, maybe sometimes a couple of years at a time, and you've got to keep reaching and stay in and develop and hone and maintain. Maintaining is really what's draining for that. I'm assuming that that would be a whole different level, and probably yes, that would be um, a little more difficult to shake, depending upon what went into that character. You hear all the time of Hollywood actors losing weight, gaining weight, working out, making new body choices, and so forth. So they have all of that to deal with over quite a long time span. Their filming constraints are not the same as independent films. Um, so no, I don't think that there's any character that I still harbor. Dun, 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 dun. That's, uh, yeah, no, it's done.
Yeah. Well, I've seen some of your different what you post on social media in terms of
Mhm.
upcoming films or films that you're planning to work on. But one of them that you completed, Bonds of Grief, I've seen some things on there that were positive there's been some positive things said about it. Can you talk about just the premise of the film and what your role is in that film?
Sure. That was a film. Now, I think that may be out. Um, If it's not out now, it will be out very shortly. Um, again, we had a movie premiere of that, and it was very well received. And it's as the title suggests, it's about the bonds that are created um, from grief, through grief, how different people grieve, um, what is a common thread of that. So this was a more dramatic piece, definitely not a comedy, and not a horror movie. It was a very dramatic movie, um, and everybody in the movie, I think, it was phenomenal, and really seemed to draw upon whatever they use, but whatever they use, their characters came through, for each person. Um, I play a mom um, who, has a maybe a complicated relationship with her daughter, and finds out some news and how they deal with that news together, um, and what she imparts to her daughter, and then how she meets a friend who is also in the process of grieving, and how they meet, they form a bond. Um, so it's all about the bonds that we form, and sometimes they come from unexpected places.
That sounds really, like impactful, and I can't wait to see that one
Mm,
because I think that's something that a lot of people, I mean, every human being will either deal with grief or can relate to grief at some level, whether it's losing a
right.
loved one or even losing a relationship, which is if you've been in one for a long time, then it ends. That is like almost grieving a death in some way.
Exactly. That's what I
So
mean. So this encompasses a lot of different forms of grief, as you were mentioning, and you'll see that when you see the movie. Um, so everybody, once it's out, please watch it.
yes, that's exciting. And I'll put a link and share the trailer in
Yeah,
this. But one film that's coming up, well, there's a few that look like more horror related because I'm a horror freak.
I know.
That you're going to be involved in. I'll start with Piglet because I've seen a lot of stuff online about this film, and even like it's been making the rounds in some of the national horror publications. I know
Yeah,
that August Aguilar, who's Strange Films, is involved in this film as well, directing, and you're going to be acting in it. And also Ginger Lynn Allen, who was in The Gifted with you,
yeah.
and the Gifted prequel, Barb and Vic, which is not out yet. She's going to be in it too. So are you excited about that? It looks really, I haven't seen a lot like about exactly everything, the plot and everything, but it looks kind of a little, just from what I've seen, sort of like reminiscent of Texas Chainsaw Massacre, just
Yeah.
that vibe. Not necessarily the story, but that kind of look and vibe.
Yes, yes, exactly. I'm very excited about that project. It did get pushed back a little bit to the spring. We were going to film in September, but it's going to be in the spring now. So they're looking to get more funding, more backers, just making it bigger and better. And I'm thrilled that Ginger Lynn is in this film. So this will be our third uh, film that we're going to work on together. So that's very exciting, and she's fantastic. I love the character that they gave me. Again, these guys were so generous, and I can't wait to bring this character to life. It's going to be different again, which is good for me. It is a horror based, and yes, it has that look of a Texas Chainsaw Massacre vibe. And yeah, I don't want to give too much away. They did come out with a teaser trailer. I think it's
that
called Piglet the
Piglet
uh,
Rising.
yeah, yeah. So that'll give you a little bit of an idea of what's to come. I think that's sort of like maybe a backstory or just something to get everybody interested in it. So I can't wait for that. I'm very excited for that one.
Oh, you're crazy. You know that?
Crazy world we live in, son.
I need you to be real with me, John, okay? You knew all this, yet you still brought us out here? Why?
We all gotta pay our dues.
What other secrets are you holding from us?
You'll see.
So one thing that caught my eye that you shared was a movie called The Final Boy.
Hmm.
Because you always hear about the final girl in the horror films, that I absolutely
Yeah.
love, the final girl. But that's not something you've shot yet. But can you talk a little about what that is, or how you fit into that film?
Yeah, I think I can a little bit. So we're going to be filming that in a few weeks, and um, it's a tight knit group of friends. I play the mother of one of the boys, and um, so this is I'd say this is more of a thriller than a horror. Um, so this is a thriller, and because it's a thriller, I don't want to give too much away. So, but I play the mom of one of the boys, and it's a group of friends and some interpersonal relationships amongst this group, and um, um, maybe what happens when somebody gets a little too personal.
That's a great way to sell it without giving too much away. That'll be a good one.
So I'm
That's the
looking
one.
forward to that shoot as well. Right after that, I'm going to be shooting also in August a film called The Traveler, which is a first film by Ryan Smith, who typically people might know from his extensive and fantastic special effects makeup, which he did on Barb and Vic, which he's done on Center City 2, which he's done for lots of films. He's going to be working on Piglet too. So he's a very dynamic fellow with lots of talent. But this is his first script, and it has an interesting premise. I think what his idea is to make it like an episodic, something like, oh, what was that TV show? Oh, it was a long time ago, black and white. Rod Serling, the
Twilight Zone.
yeah, like a Twilight Zone. So his premise is there is a continual character, which is going to be me. I'm called the narrator, but then each episode will be perhaps in a different time era with a different character, whether it's a succubus, one episode, maybe the next episode, it's some Viking character of the time that's some evil character, and I thought the idea was really cool, and I was just drawn to that idea. It's like this could really evolve into something really interesting as you jump from time frame to time frame. It could be present day, it could be sometime in the future, perhaps it'll be sometime in the past. with different horror characters coming in to play, and the narrator narrates the story. Um, so that's going to be interesting. So yep, that's coming up, and yeah. Um,
Are there any
what
other
else?
films that you're going to be working on after that through the rest of the year?
To the best of my knowledge, um, at the moment, I've got some free time, um, unless the filmings change or somebody hits me up for something. Um, so if anybody's interested, please contact me. I'll travel, and
So
well, when we were in Vegas doing the Barb and Vic prequel, um, which may not be out for a bit, because again, that's one of August's projects, and he's very consumed right now with the world of Piglet. But that's also going to be something that's going to be cool when that comes out as well. And I have, again, a totally different character in that film as well. So I mean, I'm loving all the different characters that I'm getting to do. I'm so happy about that. And it's like, who knows? I mean, sometimes out of the blue, somebody will just contact me, um, and I get another role. I work. We talked about this before. I've worked with a lot of different people, but I'm always trying to contact and make myself known and make myself available for people that seem interesting, that are doing some really good work that I'd like to be a part of. So I always try to get myself out there, um, sort of like, pick me. I want to be in your films. So yeah.
you've been doing films for more than 20 years, right? You've been acting in films for
Mhm.
more than 20 years. What is it about, and this may be a hard question to answer, but what is it about acting and being in the industry, specifically because you do a lot of indie films as well, but being in that world that keeps you going back? Because it is like anything, people sometimes see the finished product and they just think, oh, that's really cool, but
Yeah.
there's a lot of work, as like I said, with anything that goes into it. It's not just easy.
Yeah.
What
Yeah.
keeps you coming back to acting, and how did that become your passion in life?
Oh gosh. Well, I always liked performing. And I think anybody will tell you the same thing. There's nothing like it. It's just, for me, it's the best. I enjoy the whole process. I mean, I'm not real savvy about, frankly, like the technical end of things and the production and the after things. I mean, I do what I do, and I'm proud of the work that I've done, and I don't try to be something that I'm not. That's not to say I might like to direct something, um, but I'm not a writer. I'm not a cameraman. I'm not um, a sound person. I don't know. You could tell me the name of all that camera equipment that's there, and I don't know. The red eye from the whatever exposure. And I have the utmost respect, for those technical people, who know what they're doing and help you look good, help you sound good, um, make you up. Um, whatever their speciality is, that's I'm humbled by that, because that's not my area. So I will pay them all the respect and admiration in the world, because they do what they do.
And you're based there in New Jersey, and I always see that you're involved in a lot of things in your own community. And how would you describe the community that you're in when it comes to the different kinds of artistic expressions that are at your fingertips in your community? Because we were talking about that when you were visiting Austin, and I want to go
Yeah.
visit you because it
Okay.
seems like there's a lot of of fun things there to do, and also creatively there's a lot to be in touch with.
There is. We have a professional theater company called Passage Theater. Um, and we have a very vibrant artistic community. A lot of my friends, most of my friends, are in the arts in some capacity, whether it's media or fine arts. We have spoken word jams. We have a great couple of museums here. We have in the downtown area. We have a couple of curators who try and do a once a month, like a First Friday kind of thing, where they curate artwork from people in the community. And there's, as a matter of fact, some of what you see in my apartment um, is artwork from local artists. My whole apartment is filled with artwork of some sort from all of the various artists that we have around our community. Um, so yeah, I try and buy local artwork from local artists, and yeah, I'm looking forward to you coming out, and maybe when it gets a little cooler, because it must be very hot there, but for me, it's very hot here. It's really hot.
Texas is like always on fire. It just
Right? Remember when we went downtown, and I was like, "Oh my god!"
I immediately I was like, oh, I want to show Eileen Congress Avenue, which is a hot spot literally a hot spot in Austin.
Literally.
And then we walked all the way down to this bridge, and I really was doubting, like, why did I do this? And then we get in the car, and I was exhausted from just being outside.
Oh my god, that was so funny. It was like, could we just ice cream and be in air conditioning, please?
I know, that was fun. If people want to find more information about you, you have a website, right? Can you kind of tell people where to go if they're interested in watching your work and contacting you?
Yes, absolutely. So I'm on IMDb Pro, Ilene Sullivan. It's ILENE Sullivan. Instagram, same thing, Ilene Sullivan. Facebook, Ilene Sullivan. And my website